Well, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to today. I have Hans from the band Dragged Under. Welcome, Hans.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me, Barnaby.
Absolutely my pleasure. Like I said before, it's great to have you on. You guys, just to sort of get this bit out of the way, you got a new album coming out uh, called Upright Animals. It is out in June 10th. Uh,
Yep, come on.
I've actually been quite lucky to have a copy of a link to the stream of the album, so I've heard it. It's very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they've been nice to me.
Yeah,
Because I had the singles. You guys released All of Us and Crooked Halos.
correct. Yep.
Yeah, Crooked Halos, absolute damn tune. Love
Thank
that. And but yeah, no, the album itself. I don't know how many other. I'm assuming other people in the press may have heard this. I don't think probably I'm the only one. But it is a damn good album.
Thank you for saying that. Thanks a lot. It was a big leap from the first one. Thought we might get some flack for putting stuff like Crooked Halos in there just because it's a little on the, I want to say softer side, but less aggressive, but it's very passionate and very deep.
Yeah.
So we're like, that's a kind of a gamble we wanted to take and that we felt good about.
No, that's good. It's good. It's always good to change things up occasionally,
Oh, thank you.
in the world of music anyway. Otherwise, you just end up doing paint by numbers. And
And tell me about it. So many bands do that and they get away with it for a while, but then
they
you know,
did.
time catches up with them and they're writing the same album over and over again.
This is very true. I could name a few right now, but I won't.
Yes, I don't want to lose any friends right now.
Yes, yeah. So and you've also got Spencer Chamberlain on the album as well.
Yeah, that was a cool one for us. We all idolized him and we still do, but since we were kids, so getting him on Brainwash was really cool, and he added a nice little flavor to it. It's
Yeah.
nice to know he's still got it.
Oh no, totally. Big fan of his, and yeah, it was just great. I just saw that listing on the album. Is it the same one? It's got to be.
Yeah, same guy.
No, that's awesome. And also, what was the other track I really like? "See You Alive."
Oh, right on. Thank
That
you.
was another one of the softer ones, but it was yeah, it was really. I really enjoyed that track. And "Words for Hire" as well.
You're okay, cool. You're a cool guy. Right on. These are all the songs I was like, specifically Tony and I were worried about as far as reception, if you would like them because
Yeah,
they're cool. I mean, Words for Hire is a little like pop punkier and faster and cool, but it's a little different than our normal. And obviously See You Alive is a lot different than our normal MO. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
no, it's your songs. It was all good. It was because I'm gonna be perfectly honest. The first time I've heard you guys, I went back and listened to the first album, so I could see where you're sort of coming from. But this was the sort of like these singles and stuff that I got sent were the first time I really heard Dragged Under. So, but my impression was it was obviously very good of that because otherwise we wouldn't be here chatting. Really, I am very selective like that. But yeah, no, it is quite like you sort of taking it like on the sort of like softer side, like you got that pop punk elements of some of them,
Mhm.
sort of, but you still sort of have that I suppose like sort of punky hardcore sound as well with a lot of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
Tony grew up in the hardcore scene, so there's definitely that injection of influence there from him. So it's a big mess of all sorts of eclectic uh, aggregation of different sounds that we
yeah.
somehow turned into not dog shit. So
Well, I know. I mean, where you're at right now, Seattle had quite a big punk scene back when. Uh,
yeah, for
hardcore.
sure.
So, I'm assuming that was sort of that plays into your like overall influence and things like that.
Yeah, it's I mean we all grew up with punk. I mean Fluff has been playing punk music for freaking 30 years now. But we all kind of grew up with that punk influence from like Sum 41 like really popped off when we were all
Yeah.
kids. And that's still a staple of a lot of the stuff we listen to because they're still tried and true. They're still smashing festivals and they're still great. Um, Green Day, loved Green Day, and I know they kind of like you could say they sold out, but like who wouldn't? That's a great thing to do if you can do it.
Yeah,
Um,
make a living out of it. Why not?
yeah, man. Uh, the punk scene definitely made an impression on all of us as younger kids and still does today. And I think that kind of congealed into our songwriting, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so I just sort of like knowing that area. I don't know it very well, like I said, but I know a heavy punk scene came out of that area. I was very much into my East Coast hardcore when I was.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
talking Earth Crisis, Cro-Mags,
Oh shit.
yeah, Vision of Disorder, and just bands of that ilk, that sort of like, NYC, New Jersey sound.
Other side of the country was like popping off was Soundgarden and Mudhoney and freaking Pearl Jam and all that kind of stuff. It's so crazy how like a few states can create such a different sound.
Yeah,
You know.
and it be known as that sound as well, which is even crazier. So
Yeah, the East Coast hardcore, the West Coast grunge.
yeah.
Yeah, little clicks.
Oh yeah, exactly. But it was all good back then. I remember I'm that old, but but yeah, I mean, back to your guys' album. I mean, obviously, good luck with it and everything like that. I'm, it's still a little bit away. I mean, June 10th. Where are we now? We're May 20th. So you got like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks till it's released. But then you're actually gonna come to our shores, our little island, on the edge of Europe, if you will. You're going to be playing a couple of shows, I believe. I know you're on is it Download Festival.
Yep, we're gonna be download, and I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna look up because I have a horrible memory.
Yep.
We're doing a couple smaller spots, and then we're doing. Let's see. Yeah, download. Camden. We'll be at Brixton. That's it for the big ones in the UK. I've never been, man, so I don't know what. Do you expect some like Cockney stuff going on?
You say he was playing in Brixton?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to think because I'm not in London, so just trying.
I guess I should have asked that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I am near London. Don't get me wrong. I'm south of London by about 20 miles.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in between London and the south coast of.
Okay.
So not too far away, but London, Brixton. I don't think you'll get Cockney. You'll probably get a solid London accent. I don't know how best way of describing it because Cockney is the only one that really people would reference. East London, West London, they sound different.
Here's a better question. Any do's or don'ts in regards to etiquette when we're in the UK?
Ooh. No, just be yourself. Don't.
Right on.
I mean, having lived both sides of the pond, it's kind of like I got mocked more in the States than I did here.
Really?
Well, fun mocking. Don't get me wrong, but it was all 1776 references and things like that. And
that's
throwing tea into the harbor.
That's the best they had. Jeez,
that was the best they had, and I often reminded them of that.
To me though, every time I've encountered somebody with an English, like a true like Queen's English accent, I've always like, I feel like they're smart. It just sounds sophisticated and smart. So I kind of like cower to him. Like, you sound really intelligent. Jesus.
It's all a ruse. We can sound it, but a lot of us are not. So it's
we're getting big Ricky Gervais vibes. Love it.
Yes. Yeah. That's that'll be a good reference. He'll have the cultural thing down. But yeah, I mean, I'll be playing in London. Brixton Academy is a nice venue. I've been there many times in the past to see many bands. So hopefully the stage will be kind to you there, and obviously Download Festival, which is one of our biggest rock festivals, rock and metal festivals. One of the two big ones that we have over here. The rest are in Europe, which are even bigger, which is crazy. So if you're ever hitting out to those, they can be crazy. But Download this year looks good. trying to think. It was Kiss headlining, isn't it? Kiss, Deftones. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, giant names that obviously they're going to be playing later in the day, so hopefully you can go catch them. But yeah, really hyped to see them. Iron Maiden is going to be at frick, which one are they going to be at? Full Force or is it download?
It's down. I think they're downloaded as well. You have a.
Oh man,
I'm gonna bring up the lineup because I should have had this in front of me. So
those guys are going to be like 90 by now, man.
Oh, they are, but they're still going. They got
Dude,
more energy than you and I.
AC/DC when I was like maybe 15 years ago. I was 20 and I saw him in Inglewood, California. So
okay.
They were like fucking 70 back then. They absolutely murdered for 3 hours. They crushed it.
Absolutely mad.
Oh, it was just straight through, no stops, and they crushed it. Yeah. I'm stoked to see if Iron Maiden can do the same thing in there.
Yeah, well, I've seen them live a few times, and they're very energetic over the
Really?
they're running. They've got ramps either side of the stage. Bruce is running back and forth, and yeah, so I'm hoping he's still got that. Otherwise, a disappointing watch. But I just got the load up here. We've got Kiss, Iron Maiden, and Biffy Clyro are the headliners.
Let's go.
You got Deftones, you got Korn, Megadeth, Steel Panther, and there's a whole bunch of other bands in tiny writing, and I can't read it off my phone. But those are the main bands. I mean, you got Pretty Reckless as well, Raise Against, Black Label Society, Theory, which I'm assuming was Theory of a Dead Man.
Yeah,
they changed their name or adapted their name. Yeah, so I mean, obviously yourselves are playing as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a festival. I mean, the sort of surprise headliner was Biffy Clyro, because they're more of a domestic success, right, if you will. Band out of Scotland. I've seen them in a tiny venue back when they were starting, and no, they're really good. Very good rock band. Kind of, they give it sort of shades of Nirvana, and it's kind of mixed up on that. I would say if you wanted to sort of comparison, I'll probably get shot down for that. But no, it's a lot. I mean, obviously you're joining that lineup in there, and it's massive this year. I mean, for the past couple of years, we've not really had it. So
yeah, we're grateful it's back, and we're grateful is such an understatement to be a part of it. It's going to be a very humbling experience to be walking around those massive musical entities for a day. So I'm sure I'll throw up at least 3 times before we play, for sure.
Yeah, I
get it all out.
Yeah, get it all out. Leave it all on the stage, or maybe not on the stage, but maybe on the side of the stage. So just if it's your first time over here in England, if I could just for the listener base, could we get like just a bit of the sort of origin story of Dragged Under, like where you sort of came from, formed, and whatnot?
It was originally a band. Are you familiar with who Jared Dines is? Jared Dines is a hell of a YouTuber. He made his start in his waves doing kind of really rad parody videos of like 15 different kinds of drummers.
Yeah.
15 things drummers do, 15 things guitar players do, all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
So he started a band with our singer Tony and our guitar player Fluff called Rest Repose, and that was a number of years ago. And they did some tours and whatnot, and eventually one thing led to another as life kind of happens, and some outgrew others. And I think Jared wanted to do some different things. I think he wanted to keep doing the YouTube thing, and I think Tony and Fluff wanted to continue, so they rebranded, rewrote it. They wanted to rewrite an entire new catalog, and wrote a couple demos, showed them to our manager Joey, who is in the Used. He showed them to Bert, their singer, and he was like, "These are cool. That name sucks." So he's like, "Change the name." And so I'm not sure who Dragged Under came from. I did know at one point, I think it came from this kid named Austin Dickey. I think it was a name of a song he had at one point. So they adopted that. And then Joey and Bert kind of greenlit that. They're like, "That's cool. That's a cool, like, punk, Seattle punk kind of name that kind of goes with the punk, a little bit of hardcore stuff." Um, and they started to build the band back from that. So it was Tony and Fluff, and then they were shopping around for drummers, and eventually found our sweet little KK, Kalen. He's the youngest in the group. Absolute freaking fucking monster on the drums. He's completely self-taught and he's out of his mind.
Amazing.
He doesn't know anything what he's doing, and I mean that in the most like people who are self-taught and who are a virtuoso to me are infinitely more impressive than somebody who goes to school for music. Um, and he's just he's incredible. He can listen to anything for about 5 minutes and then just replicate it, and it's incredible. So we're really blessed to have him. They found him, and then I was in a touring with a band called He Is We about 2015 or 16. They're a pop band, and that's a long story. But anyway, their singer's crazy. I decided to stop touring with them for reasons I don't want to disclose right now.
Yeah.
Just became a little difficult. And so I was talking with Tony at the time. Rest Repose was on tour. This is probably circa 2016. And their singer, they were parting ways with him on tour. I just think he wasn't taking care of his voice. And so Tony reached out to me because we were kind of in a similar circle of musical friends. And he asked me, hey, do you want to hop on a flight tomorrow? We need a singer. And I said, you got it. And he said, actually stand by. We might have something we can do for now. And he took over for vocals on their Rest Repose tour. Okay. Is this making sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, so he took over, absolutely fucking crushed it. And so he messaged me the next day. He's like, hey, I'm just going to sing for this band. I was like, fuck, all right. I didn't know you could sing. And so I pop on Instagram and I was like watching people's stories, and he did a great job. Like, he just stepped up and freaking knocked it in the freaking line drive. Nice. So let another year lapse. Rest Repose breaks up. Tony stays as the singer. They start accruing members. Kalen, our drummer, enters, and then he reaches back out to me. He's like, hey, what are you doing for the rest of your life? And I was like, what's up? He reached out to me on a Monday. He's like, we have a headliner show at the Hard Rock in Seattle on a Friday. And he's like, can you learn me songs? And I was like, all right, this is it. Let's go. So I canceled all my students. I teach music privately at home online. So I canceled all my students, sat in my room for like 3 days straight, learned them all, and then drove over. And we played a show Friday, and they were like, do you want to be in the band? And I said, sounds great. And that was, that was 2019, I think, when that all kind of came to fruition. So sorry for the roundabout long-winded answer.
No.
It's interesting. It's a very interesting aggregate of odd things happening, but it all came around full circle.
Yeah.
We've been blessed with having Dave Shapiro helping us out, getting these tours, and Joey, our manager at Moniker Management, just crushing for us. And fans, man, like anybody who asks for an autograph or comes out to a show or who knows any word, it's just, the 16-year-old in you is just like fucking dead from happiness. It's just a real blessing, man. So we're really lucky guys. There's a lot of great bands out there, man, that I've seen that no one will ever know their fucking name.
Nice.
So we're very fortunate.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. No, I love that. Like when those sort of things when it just comes together. Like a lot of times you could be, I was just recruited. Like I went through an audition and here we are. But no, this was like the whole thing around that, like in this other bands involved, and there's a story there as well that obviously you don't want to divulge right now on that front. But there's just like that's great. I love that. I love listening to how bands form. Like back in the day, I was in a band as well, and how that came.
Right.
So I've been on that side of thing. I've been touring. I've been releasing albums and all that kind of stuff. So it's
with this thing, you have to be in some kind of badass hardcore.
Oh band. Totally. It was actually a new metal band. Yeah, I'm that old. It was part of there was like a UK wave of new metal bands at the time, sort of very cool. Year 2000 kind of thing, late 90s, early 2000. And I'm a DJ by I guess trade. I guess not
Yeah.
not full trade. I do other things as day jobs, but um, this band needed a scratch DJ, because that
Yeah.
was the thing at the time, and yeah, that's what I was. And as you can see behind me, just here, my turntable.
Oh, do you
So
still scratch it?
yeah, yeah, so I
Yeah.
do all that. Yeah, I
Love
kept
it.
that up. I've been a DJ since I was 11, so it's one of the things that's very heavily ingrained in me. Um,
I
and,
love it.
but yeah, no, I joined that new metal rank, and that's been my like, because that was my era, like that sort of
Mhm.
mid 90s Deftones, Korn, Limp Bizkit, the big sort of the big American bands that were around at that point, and then to be part of the UK version of that was
Yeah.
amazing. So
Hell yeah. You're DJing for him too?
I would love to. No, I mean just scratching for the band, and then I DJ clubs as well.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole bunch of rock clubs over here, and stuff like that. So you can go to these
Dude,
nightclubs and
can you send me any music of your old band?
yeah, yeah. I'll send you something.
Fired up.
Yeah.
Uh,
What streaming service do you use?
all of them, dude. Okay, so here's Fluff and I always talk about how, and I'm not sure like the why it is this way. It's something about the okay. Apple Music sounds way better than Spotify, but I use Spotify because their playlist algorithm is way
Yeah.
mo better. But so I'll like create a playlist on, it sounds weird. I'll create a playlist on Spotify and then like recreate it on Apple Music to listen to.
Okay. All right. I'll send you Apple Music links because
My man.
that's what
Thanks,
I
dude.
have.
Very cool, man. That's
So
I mean, you surrounded yourself with musical jobs. I think there's nothing cooler than that to me.
no, that's what I tried to do once I was sort of out of the like touring and releasing part of it. I was like, I have to remain within it. So I took up the sort of journalistic side with things like this, but I also like DJ as well, obviously in clubs, but also at home with these things behind me.
Yeah. You're a total new metal Ricky Gervais. I
Oh,
love it.
totally. Yeah, I'll take that. That's going.
Dude,
Yeah,
the best.
that's my status as of right now.
Well, oh man, what's that series on Netflix? It's so good. Um Afterlife or something like that.
oh yes, yeah,
So good, man. It's fucking dark, but like he's so it's just him. It's
yeah,
perfect. Like his wife died and he's like in
yeah.
this fucking job he hates, and he, as the series goes, he kind of flips it and turns into a good guy. He's like he starts to love life, but he's just like he's all time, man.
Yeah. No,
Whatever he does.
he's very good. I think they just put a new stand up special from his as well on Netflix.
Yeah, it's absolute fire. It's incredible.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to.
Oh,
I just
you're gonna full enjoy.
yeah, I'm sure I will. Well, I got a couple of questions left for you, if that's all right, because I wasn't sure how
Yeah.
long I actually had you for, but yeah, just a couple of questions left, and then I can let you get on with the rest of your day because I know it's nice. And have you got a lot of these to do today, or?
This is my last one.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. You can get on with the rest of your day after this. So, what I want to find out from you, because these questions are more about yourself, in as much as like obviously your band, but what I want to find out are your three most pivotal albums of yours. So, I'm talking about the album that made you want to pick up an instrument. Like you heard something, oh, I want to play bass. I want to guitar, I want to sing, whatever. That sort of like pinnacle moment, not your sort of top three albums of all time, but those ones that may not be your favorite albums, but the ones that kind of like pushed you in those directions.
Oh man, that's a really good question. Okay, I got two. I had to write them down. I'm a visual guy. The first one was Ray Brown, who's an old bass player from like the 60s and 70s. He's a jazz bassist. My dad got me this CD when I was like 11 or 12 because I just started playing bass in the symphony. I thought it was really cool that you could take like a horsehair bow and put it on this steel string and make a cool noise. So I played in symphony from the time I was like, oh geez, like 10, and I played in the symphony in college. But that's not what you asked. So
Right.
the first CD that inspired me to like want to play the bass, I thought it was really cool to have this really deep undertone that kind of like drives the song. And I thought it was interesting that the bass is in the percussion section or the rhythm section with with the drums and whatnot. So I was like, oh shit, there's more to it than just a string instrument because it's very has a big rhythm to it. So that the first one was Ray Brown Trio actually,
Yeah.
and then I got introduced to punk music when I was like 12. One of my buddies brought Blink 182, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. No, Enema of the State.
Okay.
That blew them wide open. Brought it to school in like sixth grade, and I spun it in my CD player. I was like, "Oh fuck, this is awesome!" And so I heard Mark Hoppus's like really gritty, cool like P bass tone, and I was like, "I gotta get a fucking electric bass. I have to." Um, so my dad bought me this P bass that was for jazz, and so secretly I would sit in my room. Um, and he was like kind of against punk music at the time. He wanted me to learn like stay more of the jazz blues route. So
Yeah.
like at work, I would rush home from school and I'd plug it in and would like turn all the gain up on my amp and I would play along to this stuff. And I was just so uh, I guess fascinated that you can make such a different sound or different tone with a bass if you just turn it this way and add a pick. Um, and then I guess the album after that that kind of inspired me back in the day, still is one of my favorite ones, is Sum 41, their debut album. Oh crap, what's that called?
All killer, no filler.
Yeah, man. Record from fucking start to finish. Every song in there is just a heavy hitter. And we still like try to model song forms from that album. They're just so cool. And that was like what fuck, that was like 2000, man, or something. That's
Yeah.
that record more than 20 years old.
Yeah.
So playing along with those ones, and playing along with All Killer No Filler. I can't remember their bass player's name, but like he definitely kind of adopted more like the like he walked the bass a lot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you know what you saying in a punk band when a bass player kind of walks it a little bit. I was like, oh
Yes.
shit, this is kind of like Ray Brown and jazz kind of stuff. So I kind of put those two together and was like, all right, I think I finally found what I really like.
Nice.
So I guess those would have to be it for me. The
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, Sum 41 and Blink 182, I mean, both of those are classic albums. Uh,
yeah,
as odd as that sounds to me, as it says, because like they like I think it was last year before, Sum 41 were on a Dad Rocks album, which is like a Father's Day compilation album that gets released.
yeah.
So that and Avril Lavigne got added to it. So I'm like, these are now dubbed as classic album. But no, that album at the time when they had Pain for Pleasure and Fat Lip and In Too Deep and all that kind of stuff. That was like one after the other after the other. I mean, amazing videos.
Oh
They,
yeah.
the one where they mimic the Rodney Dangerfield movie.
Yeah. Was
Uh,
that?
it was In Too Deep with the diving competition,
Oh yeah.
and it was the video was a Rodney Dangerfield movie. I just remember it anyway. And then yeah, just I mean that album's back to back killers.
Oh dude. Yeah, it's just a smasher. And then follow ups to that were great.
Yeah.
I think Does This Look Infected was great. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
that's got real rappers on it too. So yeah, those were kind of I guess my idol icons growing up has kind of steered the course of my musical taste.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check out the Ray Brown trio though. That intrigues me because I'm a bass player as well. So
What? You waited till now to tell me? That's great.
I did, but I haven't picked up my bass for a little while. But that was my instrument of choice. In fact, they're in my cases just over there. I can't get them, but they're over there.
Unsung fan of the band.
But yeah, no, that was something I picked up when I was younger because I needed an instrument to get into college, and I chose bass, and I stayed with that because I love.
The college.
Yeah, it was a music course at college, and I needed to know an instrument because they didn't have an instrument. And I thought I was going through, I could play guitar. I was like, because my dad used to play guitar, so it was just like I could do that. Well, I was like, let's go for bass because I've loved dance music, electronic dance music, and that's bass through and through. So it's kind of like hitting the low end tones on that, and with some nice fast beats and stuff like that. So it's all good.
A couple of bass players out here.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm gonna have to check out that Ray Brown trio because that does sound intriguing because I do like a bit of jazz. So you know.
He carries a lot of solos on it too, which can be sounds difficult to do as an upright bass player, but he does it. And he's so clean. It was fucking back in the day before like you're like cutting and splicing everything. They just do everything in like one
Yeah,
take. It's
yeah.
just it's magic, man. It's really cool.
It's the way music should be. Putting on my old man hat. But yeah, no. My final question for you, Hans. What are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not playing with the band, not writing music, I'm going to say not teaching as well. Um, what do you kind of do to get away from it, or that's sort of your separate thing from that?
I really enjoy um, being outside. So I live on a lake with my fiance. So uh, we love being on the lake, doing stand up paddle boards or like kayaking. I
Yeah,
love exercising is really good for my physical and mental health. I love to exercise. Um, I love to write. Um, I love to journal a lot. I love to read. God, I sound like a fucking old dude. Um, just started getting nicer out again. So I've been skateboarding since I was a little kid. So
oh,
skating
nice.
is, but it's definitely redefined for me. I can't do anything that's like deemed crazy anymore because my body doesn't heal like it used to. So I kind of just like dip around the park or like take a spin. Love to skate. Love to ride my bike. God, I sound boring. Jesus. Love to play with my
Right.
love to play with my dog. Um, yeah, just old guy stuff. We live in this community that's circles a lake,
Yeah.
so we work in my yard. I love to meditate. I love out on my back deck and just kind of like watch the. We have a shitload of ducks that come in and they kind of just like skid onto the water and it makes this really weird like kind of sound. All right, I sound like a crazy dude for sure,
No,
but
no. Honestly, this totally like it's like we're parallel. I lived on a small lake in Florida.
okay.
I'd say it's more of a pond than a lake, but that on the back, and then just sitting on my back porch area with the next to my pool, which I don't have anymore. But like looking out onto that lake, and there was like always like a family of ducks and stuff like that. I was just like, I remember all this. I got pictures of them on my phone,
Yeah.
and just stuff. And it was just sitting there and just sort of losing yourself or meditating. Just like having that clear moment that this is you there right now. Nothing kind of like no commercial traffic, if you will.
Oh yeah, man. The quiet is my freaking best friend.
Yeah.
We like to hike a lot too. Hikes are super fun. Take our dog out and just kind of like go. We kind of live in the foothills by the lake, so we'll just kind of dip up into the mountains for like an hour or two and come back down.
Okay.
So yeah, being out in nature is one of my favorite hobbies.
Yeah.
Definitely want more since it's getting nicer out, but sadly we're gonna be gone all summer. So my current hobby will be not sleeping much and hanging out with a bunch of dudes farting in a fucking bus for 6 months. So
Well, good luck. It's very different. Um, well, hopefully, I mean, when you hit these shores, there's a lot of scenic areas for you to go. So whenever you got downtime, like especially when you're up in Donington, with download
cool.
and everything, because obviously London, it's a city, so in a city there's different parts. Go around wherever you need to go. But if you're hitting the outer parts, I mean, Castle Donington, where you're playing, obviously it says the castle there. But it's you'll see a few of those in England. It's like the home of the castle. It's the home of history. I think is the
History. That's one of my favorite. We only have a couple minutes left, but like one of my
sorry.
favorite pastimes and hobbies is researching ancient Egypt and
Oh wow.
the civilization that predated Egypt called Kemet. So if you want to get lost in some cool magical shit, essentially enlightened societies from the Golden Age about 10,000, 12,000 years ago. The civilization of Kemet, Kemet, very enigmatic, magical, self-realized people, just the coolest shit, and I can't believe they existed. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Also UFOs for sure.
Yep.
Oh
Cool.
yeah,
Excellent.
I'm sure everybody thinks I'm a weirdo, but that's just how it be.
So, there's got to be something out there. I mean, it's not, it's you'd be
So
ignorant
I
to think there wasn't anything out there. So,
some weird stuff I've seen if we had more time for sure. But
yeah, Yeah, maybe another podcast for that one.
Hit me up. We'll just do it. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Hans, thank you very much, man. Because I see our timer is going down. Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Good luck with the album. Good luck with the tour. And download everything. I'll try and see if I can get to the Brixton show.
Yeah, please.
I'll have to sort of see when that is, because I haven't got it in front of me. Just make sure I can get there and back in one piece. But yeah, no, thank you very much again. I appreciate your time. Yeah, I'll what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you in the chat log on here. I'm going to send you a link to some Apple Music stuff.
Please. Oh, perfect. Thank you, man. I'm going to bump that today.
That I've just sent you is my band's first album, which turns 20 next year.
Oh, man.
Nice anniversary on that. But we got 2 other albums on there as well, but that was our first one, and it's sort of more along that new metal edge of things.
I'll spin it, man. Thank you, Barney.
No worries at all. Absolutely my pleasure. Like I say, have a good one, man. And yeah, we'll see you, hopefully see you soon.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
No worries. Take it easy.
All right. Bye. Later, man.